Hey y'all, welcome back or welcome if you're new here. My name is Casey. I am a full-time online reseller and I sell on platforms such as eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, Depop, and Curtsy. Today is Saturday, May 23rd, and we last left off on Thursday, May 21st. And when we left off that day, I actually had 6 more sales. And then yesterday, Friday, May 22nd, I had 4 sales, and it's not even 8:30 in the morning yet, and I've already had 2 sales. So we have a lot to go through. Let's go ahead and hop into the items. So the first item to sell are these amazing pair of, not sure if you'll be able to see it on this side for sure, Saludos, which is a great brand to be on the lookout for, especially if you can get them at a great price. I just thought these were very classic espadrille heels. Absolutely love them. They look in fantastic condition. They are in a size 7.5. They look barely worn. So I think that is why they didn't sell for as fast or as much as I had hoped. But I posted them up on all of my platforms for $35, and my Nifty sent out 20% off offers to likers on Poshmark of 28. One of those likers did counter at 22, and I've had these for almost 2 years listed in my stores, so I did decide to go ahead and accept that. My fees to Poshmark were $4.40. I believe I got these for about $4 or $5 at a half off Salvation Army sale. So I turned $5 into $17.60. I think these are a perfect little summer shoe, and I hope that the buyer of those gets a lot of wear during the summer in these. The next item to sell I also got at a half off Salvation Army sale, and although it is a boutique brand, it's by Blue Pepper. This is such a trendy style right now. It is a crochet top and it has this American flag right in the center. I think this is so cute, and I'm so happy to see it being sold before the 4th of July. Absolutely love this. I did price it on eBay for $27.99 plus $7 ship, and a buyer came in and used my 17% off coupon I have running in my eBay store for the month of May. They paid $23.23 plus $7 ship. It cost me $6.58 to ship. I did have it promoted, so those fees were 96 cents. My fees to eBay were $4.48. I did say I got it at a half off Salvation Army sale, but I don't believe for how much. So I got that for about $4, and I turned $4 into $18.21. Very happy with that sale. And to my surprise, another tank top sold. This is Tahari. As you can see, it's probably vintage. It is 100% linen, and I just had to pick this up at my local Savers. I believe I paid about $8 for it, but being that it was 100% linen, I could not pass it up. It is kind of like an open knit crochet tunic tank. Absolutely love this. It does have some loose threads that I am going to have to pull through, but nothing that I can't fix. This is an incredible piece. Absolutely love it. I did price it pretty reasonably because it was hard to photograph, and I really don't think that the photos help this sell. I priced it at $24.99 plus $5 ship, and again, another buyer used my 17% off coupon. They paid $20.70 plus $5 ship. That item did cost me $6.44 to ship. I did have it promoted, so those fees were 81 cents. My fees to eBay were $3.84, and I made a small profit, but I still made a profit of $14.61. Very happy to have that go out of my store so I can use that money and purchase better inventory. Now, this next item to sell is a consignment item for my aunt. It is by AGL, which is Attilio Gusti Liambruni. So there's that. And apparently these are a great brand to be on the lookout for. The comps on these were incredible. They are like a navy sheer patent toe leather buckle detail ballet flat. And I believe these are like a comfort shoe. So, and honestly, they are in fantastic condition. I had a lot of interest in those, and I actually had multiple buyers asking me if I had a black pair. So, definitely be on the lookout for those, especially at a reasonable price. I priced them very reasonably. The comps were all over the place on these, and I thought $49.99 plus $10 ship on eBay was a great price to ask. And again, someone used my 17% off coupon. So if you are not using the coupon service on eBay, definitely go in there and try to set up a coupon in your store. I find it very easy, and it definitely helps with getting items out of my store. So, the proof is in the pudding, obviously. They paid $41.49 plus $10 ship. It cost $11.67 to ship. Unfortunately, they are at the other end of the country. I do live in California. I did have them promoted, so those fees were $2.57. Our fees to eBay were $6.94, and my aunt made a profit of $18.19, and I made a profit of $12.12. And these were only listed for a week or two, so I think that is a great, fantastic flip and a great profit for both her and I. The next item to sell definitely put a smile on my face because I was recently just watching another reseller here on YouTube. Her name is Julia from JM Squared. I absolutely love her videos. I think she is a wealth of knowledge, and she actually lives in Los Angeles, so about an hour away from me, which is awesome. And she had sold a piece by this brand, and I was a little bummed because I have had this piece sitting in my stores for, I want to say, almost 4 or 5 months, and I've had a lot of traction on it, but just no bites. And then finally it sold for my full asking price from Nifty, so I was thrilled. It definitely shows you that when you start thinking of something really hard or focusing on a brand in your store or even touch something in your inventory, usually it does sell. It's kind of weird how the universe works, but that's how it's worked for me. Let me know down in the comments if you believe the same thing. So, long story short, let's go ahead and get into this item. It is by La Perla. These are 100% silk, blue and white floral wide leg pants, pajama pants. I'm sure you could wear these out and about if you wanted to. I think that is the trend right now, is wearing actual like really beautiful pajama pieces out. But these are coming from my mother-in-law. She no longer wanted them, so I did go ahead and put them up online. They did have quite a few spots on them that I did point out to the buyer, so I did price them very reasonably. I could have priced those for over $100, but because of the staining, I wasn't comfortable doing that. So I did price them on all of my platforms for $50, and my Nifty on Poshmark sent out a 20% off offers to likers of 40, and one of those likers did accept. My fees to Poshmark were $8, and I turned a free to me item into $32. Those pants still have a ton of life left in them, so I'm really excited for the next person to enjoy them. Now, the last item to sell on Thursday is by Sundance. Absolutely love selling this brand, and I actually just picked up this top at my favorite Salvation Army for $8. It is this beautiful ruffle deep V, like kind of just like a baby doll pleated blouse. Absolutely love this, in fantastic condition. Love the smocking to the back. Such a cute piece for spring and summer, and I did price it pretty reasonably. I didn't want to go over $30, so I did price it right at $30. My Nifty sent out 20% off offers to likers of 24, and one of those likers did counter at 20. I was not going to haggle for $4 more, so I did go ahead and accept that. My fees to Poshmark were $4, and I doubled my money by making a profit of $16. I think that is fantastic, especially because that top was only listed for about 2 to 3 days. So the first item to sell yesterday, I took a chance on at my local Savers. I paid about $10 for it, and that is with my 20% off coupon. I believe they had it marked at like $12 or $13. And it is this beautiful, like square neck, caramel and blue, floral printed, tiered mini dress or midi dress, depending on how tall the buyer is. But this is such a fantastic piece. I believe they still had it on the website for $100. So, and this is in fantastic condition. I did go ahead and list it right at $50 on Poshmark, and I received an offer of $42. Because my Nifty would have sent out an offer of $40, I did go ahead and accept that. My fees to Poshmark were $8.40, and I turned $10 into $33.60. That was only listed for about a month also, so very fast flip and very happy with that return on my investment. Now, this next item, for those of you new here, I say this in every video. I am a couponer, so I just love selling my coupon goods online if I can. And this is one of them. It is the Olay Regenerist Retinol Cream. This is the max 24 hour. And I believe I got this for about $5 couponing, which is incredible because it's usually like $30 to $40. And the comp suggested that I listed at $24.99 plus free ship on eBay, so I did. I received an offer of $20.99 plus free ship, which I gladly accepted. It cost me $6.25 to ship. My fees to eBay were $3.31, and I doubled my money by making $11.43. That'll go right back into my couponing fund. This next sale, I really should have just taken down and redone the photos, because I don't think that the photos gave it enough credit for how beautiful it really is. It is by Ann Taylor. It is vintage. It is 100% wool on the outside, and it is this beautiful like tank maxi dress. It is stunning. It is like this, and then it has these buttons down the front with the pockets. And I just think this is such a quintessential 2000s look, like Miss Honey, but make her goth kind of. And it has this really cool tie at the back. I obviously need to lint roll it, but I mean, the pictures just did not do it justice, and I could have gotten a lot more for this, but I've already had it in my inventory for over a year, so it just had to go. I actually dropped the price down to $29.99 plus $10 ship, and I received an offer of $18 plus $10 ship. I did get it at a half off Salvation Army sale for $4, so I did decide to go ahead and accept that. It cost me $8.61 to ship. My fees to eBay were $4.25, and I turned $4 into $15.14. So I still got an over $10 profit, and I'm happy with that. Happy that someone else can give it a new life, because it is a vintage piece and it's been around for a while. And if we can continue that trend, that is fantastic. So the last item to sell yesterday is another couponing pair of items. It is Crest 3D White Brilliance toothpaste. Absolutely love selling toothpaste and toothbrushes. I actually get them all for free couponing, and I did price those at $14.99 plus free ship. I did have a couple watchers on it, so I manually sent out 12% off offers to watchers on eBay of $13.49 plus free ship, and one of those watchers did accept. It cost me $6.95 to ship. My fees to eBay were $2.26, and I turned free to me items into $4.28. That'll go right back into my couponing fund. So the first item to sell today, I actually purchased for my husband, still at a half off Salvation Army sale for about $4, but he just wasn't feeling it. It is by Ex Officio, which is a great like insect shield brand, or that's what they're known for. And it is this really pretty purple button down. Absolutely Love this, and it does have the adjustable sleeves. So I just thought this was a fantastic piece to still put up. Usually I find a lot of khaki and greens in this color, and it was fun to find a purple. So a double XL in men's, that's a great size and a great brand. So I did price it very reasonably on eBay for $27.99 plus $7 ship. And a buyer came in, actually, they didn't use my 17% off coupon. I spoke too soon. My Nifty sent out an 18% off offer to watchers on eBay, and one of those watchers did accept. They paid $22.93 plus $7 ship. It cost me $8.13 to ship. My fees to eBay were $4.47, and I turned $4 into $17.33. Now, the next item to sell today is a consignment item from one of my tennis teammates. It is by Benar, and the inner tag actually says Olivaceous, so I think this is just a boutique brand. It is this beautiful linen exterior striped midi skirt. Absolutely beautiful, and it kind of has like a trapeze hem. So beautiful, so pretty. Absolutely love this. Perfect for the season we are headed into. And I priced it pretty high for a boutique brand for $50. And my Nifty sent out 20% off offers to likers of 40. One of those likers did counter at 34, and I thought 50 was a bit too high myself, so I did decide to go ahead and accept that. Our fees to Poshmark were $6.80, and I did give my consignee a bigger share of the profit because I did accept a lower offer than we had expected. So I gave her a profit of $20. I took a profit of $7.20, and I only had that listed for about a week. So great turnaround time on that item. As you can tell, a lot of the items that I sell are very bread and butter. There are rare ones in between that sell for, I want to say, even over $50. I really pride myself in giving my customers the best bang for their buck, and that's why I try to have as low of cost of goods as possible. So I really appreciate you guys being here. I hope to hop back on within the next few days, and I say few days because Monday is, I believe, Memorial Day, so the post office will be closed, and I don't have to ship anything on Monday, which is awesome. So I should be back within the next few days to show you more sales. Hey y'all, it is now Tuesday, May 26th. Yesterday, Monday, May 25th was a holiday, so I didn't hop on. And when we left off, it was Saturday, May 23rd. I had 3 more sales that day. Then on Sunday, May 24th, I also had 3 sales. And yesterday, I had 6 sales. So this video is going to be a long one. Let's go ahead and jump into the items so it's not as long as I don't want it to be for your guys' sake. So the first item to sell on Saturday is by Lucky in Love. This is a great athletic wear brand if you can find it out in the wild at a reasonable price. This is just a white long sleeve, but it does have this really cool shimmer detail to both of the sleeves. Absolutely love that. And although this is quite basic, I did list it pretty high because the comps were pretty great. So I listed it for 40. My Nifty sent out 20% off offers to likers on Poshmark of 32. One of those likers did counter at 30, which I thought was extremely reasonable for just a basic athletic shirt. So I did go ahead and accept that. Our fees to Poshmark were $6. This is my tennis teammate. She does a lot of consignment with me. So she made a profit of $14.40, and I left with $9.60. That's fantastic considering she was just going to donate that. This next item is also a consignment item by Slade Wilder. This is just like a Y2K vintage tee. I thought the graphic was pretty cool and that someone else would too. It's pretty plain on the back, and I went ahead and priced it on eBay for $24.99 plus $5 ship, and a buyer came in and used my 17% off coupon that I have running in my eBay store for the month of May. They paid $20.71 plus $5 ship. It cost us $6.07 to ship. We did not have it promoted. Yay. Our fees to eBay were $3.98, and my consignee left with $9.40, and I made a profit of $6.26. And again, that was something that he was just going to donate. So to get almost $10 for an item that you were going to donate, I think that is amazing. Next item I got at a half off Salvation Army sale for about $5. They are by 511 Tactical, which is a great outdoors brand, very utility, workwear, that kind of aesthetic. These are a pair of green cargo pants, and they are actually, no, they're not the ripstop material. They're just a really nice, thick material. They do have some stains and some pulling at the threads, which I did go ahead and disclose in the listing, and I did price them a little lower than comp suggested for that reason. So I priced them at $34.99 plus $10 ship, and my Nifty actually sent out 18% off offers to watchers on eBay of $28.70 plus $10 ship, and one of those watchers did accept. It cost me $11.58 to ship. These are over a pound, and the buyer lives actually in Texas, which usually the shipping is a little lower to Texas, but nonetheless, they weigh over a pound, so totally reasonable. I did have them promoted, so those fees were $1.24. My fees to eBay were $5.65, and I turned $5 into $20.23. Very happy with that sale. Now, this next item is a fast flip, and that doesn't surprise me because they are a brand that we all know and we all love. They are very unassuming, but I did see this giant V at the bottom. They do not, unfortunately, have an interior tag, but they are a pair of black shorts. And at first I thought these were board shorts, but after doing some research, they're just regular athletic shorts. There's the Vuori right there, if you can see it. So they are lined, which is really nice. And I actually got those recently at my favorite Salvation Army for $4.99, which is incredible. I did price them on Depop for $40, and I received an offer of $32, which my Nifty would have sent out anyway, so I happily accepted. I did have that item boosted over on Depop, so those fees were $3.84. My fees to Depop were $1.57, and I turned $5 into $26.59. And I'm not sure if I said this or not, but that was the first item to sell yesterday. Or not yesterday, Sunday. I keep thinking today's Monday. Now, this next item to sell is by Skims, which we absolutely all know and love. This was only marked for $4.99 at my local Savers, which is wild because they know their brands, but I think it's because it's very basic, and it did have like a faint spot in the front, which I did disclose. I tried to get it out, but it just did not come out, and I put that in the description. This is an ivory ribbed tank dress. Absolutely love this piece, and because of the slight stain, I did price it up, I want to say. I still priced it pretty reasonably at $39.99 plus $7 ship. And I received an offer, which I did accept because of the stains. So I received an offer on eBay of $25 plus $7 ship. I did go ahead and accept that. It cost me $5.73 to ship. I did have it promoted, so those fees were $1.02. My fees to eBay were $4.73, and I turned $5 into $20.52. Now, the last item to sell on Sunday is actually coming from my own personal closet. It is this bright yellow Adidas sports bra. And usually I wouldn't post something like this, but Adidas definitely has a following. So I knew I could still price it a little lower than comp suggested and get a good price. I probably thrifted that for myself for about $2 to $4. So very happy nonetheless to get my money back even. So I did price it on Depop for $15 and I received an offer of $10. Because this is coming out of my own personal closet, I did decide to go ahead and accept that. My fees on Depop were 81 cents and I actually doubled my money. So let's say I paid $4 for that at a thrift store. I made a profit of $9.19, which I think is awesome, again, for something that I was just going to donate back to the thrift store. Now, this next item is by Lady Hagen, and I only picked this up because it was at a $2.99 Salvation Army sale, and as you can see, it's new with tags. It's a very basic, like bright blue polo, but honestly, athletic wear just does so well for me, as you guys could see from these most recent videos. So for $3, I couldn't pass it up. And I actually took a tip from Gloria over on Via Glow. And I've been going through my very old listings, which this is a part of, and I've been going into them, delisting them on all of my platforms and posting them up for only $15. Because my Nifty will send out 20% off offers to watchers or likers on all of the platforms. So at least I would just get $12. And I believe she's marking down everything at $12 and not sending offers. So this is one of the items that I priced down to $15. I've had it for almost 2 years now, and my Nifty sent out 20% off offers to likers on Poshmark of $12, and one of those likers did accept. My fees to Poshmark were $2.95, and I still tripled my money by making a total profit of $9.05. If I didn't say so, that Lady Hagen polo was the first thing to sell yesterday on Monday, so now we're going through yesterday's sales. And the next thing to sell is by Travis Matthew. And this is a pair of tan straight leg athletic pants for women. Even though they were women's, I still wanted to pick them up because this brand just retails for so much. And this too was at a $2.99 Salvation Army sale, so I knew I could still make a small profit. I priced those on Poshmark for $40, and my Nifty sent out 20% off offers to likers of $32. One of those likers did counter at $24, and I have had that item listed in all of my stores for almost over a year now, so I did decide to go ahead and accept that. My fees to Poshmark were $4.80, and I turned $3 into $19.20. So I did still make a pretty great profit. Now, this next pair of pants is from Girlfriend Collective. This is another great athletic brand to be on the lookout for if you can find it at the right price. It is this pair of pull-on purple leggings. I did pay a lot for these, unfortunately, at my local Savers. This is a learning lesson. I wouldn't do that again. They are just a great pair of leggings, and they're in fantastic condition, almost like new. And I did price those on Poshmark for $28. My Nifty sent out 20% off offers to likers of $22, which one of those likers did accept. My fees to Poshmark were $4.40, and I turned $8 into $17.60. Not the biggest profit, but like I said, I would not pick those up at that price again. Maybe at the bins or a half-off Salvation Army sale, but definitely not for $8. Now, this next item I had to do a little research on. I could feel the material, knew it was a linen blend, and did look at the inner materials tag for the RN number and quickly realized that it was Eileen Fisher. It is this really pretty, like, chartreusey pea green 3/4 sleeve blouse. Absolutely love this. However, it did have a hole at the bottom, so I did price it very reasonably. I did not want to fix the hole. I wanted to leave that to the buyer. I did price it at $25, and my Nifty on Poshmark sent out 20% off offers to likers of 20, and one of those likers did counter at 10. This is another item that I've had for over a year in my stores, and I did want to quickly move it along. I got that also either at a $2.99 Salvation Army sale or a half off Salvation Army sale. So I paid anywhere from $3 to $4 for it, and I did go ahead and accept that $10 offer. My fees to Poshmark were $2.95, and I still made a profit because I made an overall profit of $7.05. So not the biggest profit, but I am happy to see a lot of these older items moving so I can make room for bigger and better inventory. Now, these last two items that sold yesterday are definitely why I am okay with the lower dollar items selling and getting out of my store. And it is because they are incredible. So this first one is by Maeve, and this is just a beautiful green velour pleated midi skirt. I absolutely love this print, and it is new without tags. This is just such a great piece. Absolutely love it. And I priced it very reasonably. I should have priced it a little higher, but I did just price it to move out of my store quickly. And I put it up for $40. And on Poshmark, my Nifty sent out 20% off offers to likers of 32. And one of those likers did accept that. My fees to Poshmark were $6.40, and I made a profit of $25.60. This item I actually got at a higher end thrift store down by the beach, and my cost of goods that day was about $12, but I did get a lot of really high ticket items for higher prices than I would normally pay at another thrift store, so I'm very happy to double my money on that. Now, we did save the best sale for last, and it is by Ulla Johnson. No, I did not find this in the wild. This is coming from my tennis teammate who does consignment with me. You've seen a lot of her items, I want to say, just in this video alone. But this is 100% silk puff sleeve maxi dress in Alpine. That is the colorway. It is absolutely stunning. And I did price this one and another one that she had given me really high for $420, even though the comp suggested anywhere from $200 to $300. And last night I received an offer of $200, and in this case I did go ahead and take a screenshot of the dress. I sent it over to her and I said, hey, I have this priced at $420, which is really high. Comps look like this. Do you want to take this offer? Do you want to counter? What would you like to do? Normally, I don't do this, but because it is a higher ticket item, I want to make sure that she has a say in what goes. And she did decide to just go ahead and accept that, which I thought was very reasonable because a lot of comps on eBay suggested those, like new with tags, going for $200. So I'm very happy she made that decision. Our fees to Poshmark were $40, and she made a profit of $96, and I left with $64, which I think is fantastic. All of the items that she does give me, she is just going to donate, so why not make a little bit of the money that you had spent on it already back? I think that's an awesome strategy for her, so she can use that to buy better things for her wardrobe. Now, I'm going to go ahead and package these up and ship them off. As always, I really appreciate you guys being here. It actually means more than you know to me. I hope you all are having fantastic thrifting, fantastic sales, and until next time, my friends, bye.